Dynamic entrance kicking in the door like God. Turn up to the max, shooting energy up to the sky. Tap into the station 935, it's time to rock. Swooshy color backgrounds just to let you know we fly. Undefeated, never beaten, cause we got the skill. Striking all this black gold, you would think we had a drill. We got what you need, homie, so come and get your fill. Relax and unwind, it's time to anime and chill. It's time to anime and chill. Relax and unwind, it's time to anime and chill. Okay. We are back, like big time back.
Big time, baby.
Like, bro, back like we forgot our phones.
Man, look. Shit.
Hold on 1 second.
Forgot phones, wallets.
Keys. But, yeah.
But yeah, we back. Like, cook crank.
You are now chilling with your favorite two N-words.
Favorite two N-words.
The biggest anime nerds.
Biggest anime nerd.
We can say it.
You can.
Man, it has been, what, 3-4 weeks?
Oh, man, it's almost been a month. Like, we sleep.
Right, like I did an episode the week after I got back. And other than that, I haven't been able to get back up here. Been having some car trouble. Finally got that situated. So now we back up and running. Man, what a month we have had.
Yeah, some shit's going down. Some shit's going down.
Boy.
For real. Speaking of shit going down, in the Dragon Ball manga universe, Goku and Vegeta are getting their asses thrashed.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna get to that. I also want to talk about, I want to do a last minute rewrite tonight for Captain Marvel, because I was doing my Marvel rewatch. I was doing the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got to Captain Marvel, it was like the movie has potential to like be one of the best, well, not one of the best, but it had potential to be better than what it was. And so I'm gonna give my take on how it could have been better in a last minute rewrite. Also, we gonna talk about some Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, S-H-A-N-G, Shang-Chi. And I also want to get into some what if.
Yeah.
So, like,
because Marvel's doing it big right now.
Let's get this thing rolling. Let's start out with Shang-Chi then. Let's go ahead and give him his due.
Yeah, Marvel's version of Dragon Ball Z.
Right, man, because that shit was like real life anime.
Yeah, yes it was. There
Oh,
was not
my
one
goodness.
part of that movie where I was bored or even felt like going to sleep. And I was in a movie theater where the chairs, the seats and the chairs came.
Oh yeah, them leather recliners.
Yes. Bruh, that movie was action packed from start to finish.
Yeah. Well, I won't say from start to finish. There is a point in the movie where it kind of slows down to give you exposition on what they're getting into. But for the most part, yeah, it was action packed from the beginning. Like, bruh, like number one, that bus scene was like, oh my goodness. It gave me the vibes of Jackie Chan. Like watching like a Rumble in the Bronx. That type of shit. The way he was moving, and then the way they was moving the camera with him. So it was almost like you're right next to him as he's doing all of this shit. And as he's maneuvering around the bus, the camera's moving around with him. And yeah, bro, that shit was too dope. And I did like the fact that they kind of stuck on Aquafina being a better driver than he was. His homegirl Katie, she was the way better driver than he was. They gave it to you at the beginning when she stole a sports car, went joyriding in that motherfucker.
didn't scratch that bitch. Then she drove this bus while this giant motherfucking brawl is taking place. She really didn't crash that motherfucker. Found a way to bring that shit to a safe stop. Don't know how, but she wrecked a lot of property in the process, but that's neither here nor there. Freaking, yeah, man, when they went over to Hong Kong, the fight on the scaffolding, bruh, that shit was dope.
Yeah, that was, it reminded me of Rush Hour 2.
Yeah. Bruh, the way they set it up, and then the shot that they took when they took that wide shot, and they showed you the distance he was away from the chick, Katie, and how he was trying to get over there, and it was, bruh, that shit just looked like a game of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he got over there fast as hell, though. She about to fall off.
Yeah.
He got over there fast as hell.
Bruh. I thought she was done for when they kicked her off. I was like, oh no, she's dead. Now he got a dead homie. That's gonna bring him back for Vince. Nope. Her sister got her. I was like, not mad that she didn't die. I was like, you robbed him of that moment. That heroic moment where the hero loses his best friend, loses his right hand, and has to go through grief and grows up. But nah, they still found a way for him to do it. And I don't think he really grew at all in the movie, but he did learn a lesson. I'll say that. I will say that he did learn a lesson, because the martial arts flicks, they good with teaching you a lesson in all their movies. All their movies got a lesson in there somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, man, I thought it was dope. But when it really got good, the meat of the story came towards the end. That giant CG battle with the dragons and the what did they call that thing? I think it was like the evil that lurks within, or some shit like that. And it's like, that shit just looked like a giant hydra. So I'm like, okay, so it's a kaiju battle. But then the fight he had with his dad, that was the real fight. When they was fighting over the rings.
Yeah, that fight was solid.
Bruh.
Yeah, that was solid.
And I thought that shit was so dope, how every time his dad tried to shoot him with the ring would turn gold around him.
Yeah. I like when he hit that nigga with that Dragon Ball punch. Hit that
oh,
nigga
yeah.
With some Dragon Ball Z shit. Knocked that nigga across the water. I was like, ooh.
Yup.
Yeah, that was dope.
Hell, the dragon that they used.
Yeah.
Now, did you notice that dragon came out of the water? Because people always talk about, oh no, it's like when they revealed Kaido, his dragon form, or not so much dragon, but fish form as they call it. And it's like, wait, but that nigga's a dragon. No, that nigga's a fish. Now we see where they get that shit from. Like,
right. Because even Gyarados was a fish. Because he evolved from Magikarp, which was a fish.
Right. And so it was like, yeah, bro, that when they got to that the mythical world, the first thing I started doing, I said Pokemon. I was like, oh shit, they got Pokemon running around this motherfucker. And my mom was like, no, it's not Pokemon. No, those are the Chinese mythical beasts. And I'm like, yeah. Well, in Japan, they call them shits Pokemon.
Right. Yeah,
because that's exactly what Pokemon is. It's a fucking monster that you stick in your pocket.
Pocket monster.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fucking cheesy.
Hey,
now to think about it.
Cheesy enough to catch on. That shit caught on here in America and blew the fuck up. That's why they got so many seasons of it now. Like, I'm like, Jesus, this shit has no end. This shit is almost up there with One Piece. Except Pokemon is strictly for kids.
Starting with like Power Rangers. Somehow, some way they keep on.
Bruh, Power Rangers is slick based off of an anime.
Shit. Yeah, damn it, I can't think of the name of it.
Teenage Super Cyber Squad or some shit like that.
Nah, it's something else. Can't remember the name of it, but Japan started it first.
Yeah.
The name was real basic,
Right.
but it was essentially the same exact thing. I was like, oh.
And then when you put it into context, how every episode, Rita would make the monster grow, give us a giant kaiju, and now these niggas gotta make a giant Gundam to fight that shit.
Right. Yeah.
They form together like Voltron and shit.
Damn, I'm gonna say Power Rangers took inspiration from a few things.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Shang-Chi was that was the shit, man. As far as, since we're gonna stay on Marvel, what if
that shit wasn't as good as it is?
Bruh, I'm telling you, cause like each episode it gets better and better.
Yeah.
At least I feel that way. Each episode kind of kicks it up a notch.
Yep. And it's like you said before, they cram so much in. It's like, dang, when the ending comes, it almost catches you off guard.
Yeah. Yeah, like the first episode, and now they're starting to add a little bit of continuity in there. Well, not so much now, but they've got continuity in there, and we can start to see it a little more clearly. Like I know in the Doctor Strange episode, the demon with the tentacles, where he cut the tentacles off and absorbed the tentacles.
Yeah.
Come to find out, that's the same monster that grabbed what's her name, Peggy, in episode 1. That's the same monster that she was trying to fight off. And they're saying, if you watch the preview, there's also an episode where the two of them are, where they meet, they talk. Evil Doctor Strange and Captain Britain. Freaking, what else? What did you think about the T'Challa episode? What if T'Challa was Star-Lord?
I thought that episode was pretty dope. I guess T'Challa just had what it takes to be a better Star-Lord than Star-Lord. That was
right.
Like to have Thanos.
Cause when he said it, and oh boy, Star-Lord, I know who you are.
Right.
Damn, bruh.
You know, to have Thanos sitting there, totally aborting his mission of obliterating half the universe, and he's on your team. Yeah, come on, man. That's that nigga was right there. That nigga was making major moves out there in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was interesting. It was interesting the fact that they still kept Peter Quill in it.
Yeah, because they brought him in at the end
to show, yeah, you know, even though this part of the story wasn't what you thought it was,
now, did you pay attention?
Still is part of it.
If you pay attention, the Dairy Queen that he's working at, that's the same one from Guardians 2, where Ego planted his seed in the back of the store, or behind the store, I should say. But yeah, that was the same Dairy Queen. And then the look that he had, like, Peter, I've been looking for you for a long time. This nigga, you're a god. Can you imagine? No holds barred, nothing holding him back, no emotions.
Yeah, and the look on his face said, "Yeah, I got you." So yeah, Peter Quill. I bet Peter Quill in this one, he totally succumbs to that shit.
Yeah,
becomes a battery and
just lets Ego just do what he wants with him.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, man, and I think some of these are not gonna be one-offs. Some of these they're gonna kind of continue at least the narrative, if not later on in this season, maybe in season 2. So, yeah. Episode 3, I thought was like, yo, that shit was so dope. The murder mystery.
Yeah.
What if Hank Pym killed off the Avengers? I was like, bruh, that shit is like, because the way he killed each one of them was specific to them.
Yeah.
He didn't kill no two Avengers the same. Each one of them got it differently. Hell, we don't even know how Black Widow died.
Right. I'm saying right now trying to imagine how he did her in.
He probably got big and crushed her.
Probably. Giving him hands. For real.
Turned into Goliath for a second and
Probably
stomped
did,
this bitch.
Probably did.
But yeah, man, I was like, bro, that shit was bananas. And then after that, we fucked around and got what was episode 4? Fucking, was that the zombies? Yeah, that was the zombies. Episode 4 was Marvel Zombies. Come to find out, that was based off of a comic book that was written by the dude that does not.
Was it the zombies or was it Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange was episode 5.
You sure?
Yep.
I don't know why I feel like the last
The
one I
zombies
watched
was episode
before that
4.
one, I feel like the last episode I watched before T'Challa and Tony was zombie. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. But what if? I don't care. Who's whatever.
Either way, the zombie episode was like, bruh, from the beginning, when they fucking started you out in Infinity War, had this motherfucking Tony pop up and just show up behind this motherfucking Ebony Maw and just, it's like, hear me and rejoice, for you are about to die at the hands of the children of Baal. Yeah, shut up. Which I thought was so funny when Happy was using his glove, which was the glove he used in Civil War when he was trying to stop Bucky. It was that same robotic glove. That was the one that Happy was using in the What If. And when him and Sharon Carter had broke off and he's shooting the zombies and this motherfucker blam, 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 blam. I was, oh hell nah. And I'm thinking it, and as I'm about to say it, this bitch goes, did you just say blam, blam? And he was, no, blam. Which I thought was funny because when she had to kill him by turning his own glove on him, after she killed him, this bitch, blam. Like, that one's for you, buddy. But, yeah, the Doctor Strange episode, that shit was kind of depressing, though.
Yeah, that was a depressing episode.
They got real dark on that one.
Like, damn, buddy. I mean, that episode was so strong. They theorizing that that's the Doctor Strange that's going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, the evil one. So I'm like, well,
I wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't either.
Because they're saying in this one, this Doctor Strange doesn't have that tremble in his hand. They're like, because if you notice, like, in all of the other movies he's in, his hands are never, like, completely steady. They're always just a little bit shaky. Got the even at the end of Endgame, when Tony asked him, hey, and he looks up and he, as he's holding his fingers, just got that little tremble. But in this one, no tremble. So it's like, are we getting this new Doctor Strange that broke the motherfucking reality?
Probably. But like I said, who knows? What if Marvel decides to integrate? But what if they've already done it? Put these what ifs out because these what ifs coincide with the movie.
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be
Yeah, man. And that one wasn't even the best one. I think the one that takes the cake is goddamn episode 6. What if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? And turned Tony Stark into a bigger asshole than he already was. Like, dude, this nigga made a portable Jericho missile.
Yeah, look like one of them Halo guns.
Didn't it though? That should look like a rocket launcher from Destiny, some shit you hold and it's just, you let that motherfucker off and like 4 shells come out and each one of them shells explode into 16 pieces.
Right.
Like, Jesus, nigga.
But see, this is the Tony that you get when he's not, building Iron Man.
Right. Right.
Being a merchant of death.
Right. This is what he would have been doing. He'd have been building shit like that. A portable Jericho missile. You fucking crazy. They gonna sell that shit to the military. They like, oh, you thought the Jericho was dope. Mm-mm. You know what's crazy? In Iron Man 1, the nigga who took him captive, that's what he wanted that nigga to make.
Yeah, Jericho missile. And then he just put all of that in the power of your hand. Nigga, I had niggas walking around with like the freezer fort.
Bruh. Been like, yeah, our military is nothing to fuck with. Your military don't have these. Then
Right.
y'all niggas just bought the regular Jericho missile. Like, y'all niggas can't even take that shit on the battlefield. You can't put that on the, well, yeah, you can put it on the truck. But that's the only way to carry that motherfucker is on the truck. Then he said, see this? I made a gun you can throw over your shoulder. Hell, who's to say that nigga wouldn't make a proton cannon?
Yeah.
He got nanotech. Well, who's to say he would even start tapping into nanotech?
Right. He wouldn't have a reason to.
Right. Cause the only reason he did it was because he got the shrapnel removed from his chest, so he didn't need the arc reactor in his body anymore. So now that it's not in his body, now he could take it off and put his, like, bruh. Now of course he finna, okay, well now let's see what we could go. Ooh, let's see if we got some nanotech on this bitch. What did that do? Oh, okay. Bleeding edge. And that's what he calls that shit.
Nice thing.
But yeah, Hawkeye. I totally forgot about that one, but
November.
yeah,
Drop in November.
bruh.
Right around the holidays. That's what I'm talking about. Most wonderful
Bruh.
time of the year.
Like, Marvel ain't playing. They slick made a Die Hard movie on your ass.
Yeah, they slick dead, nigga. They slick dead. Because the shit, I think it starts November 15th.
Yeah, and
if we
it's
get an
Christmassy.
episode- right. And it's going right into December. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if they have a Christmas episode on Christmas.
bruh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's probably gonna end on Christmas, but then again, it might not.
Hell no,
Cause,
they
well,
Christmas.
no, it might, cause they said it's gonna be like, I think 5 or 6 episodes, and if they dropping them by the week,
Yep.
depending on when in November they start, they might
Right.
land like right on Christmas.
But yeah, I'm curious to see if the White Widow gonna be in it. If this is
Oh,
where
they
gonna
said she
go.
is.
Oh, okay.
They said she is. That she's supposed to be in it, cause she's supposed to be hunting that nigga down. They confirmed this nigga, Vincent D'Onofrio, is reprising his role as Wilson Fisk. So that's happening. And then also they getting Netflix's Matt Murdock to come through for Spider-Man Far From Home.
So it's for real.
Yeah, they're gonna start integrating these. At least them two. I don't know if they're gonna integrate
rest
everybody
of 'em.
else, but I know so far.
Because Daredevil hit the hardest.
Right. If they do integrate anybody else, it might be the Punisher.
Yeah, I know for that.
But then you know they do that, you know, the Femmies What about Jessica Jones? What about her? I'm sorry, but his series was kind of terrible. The first season was good. Season 2 was eh. Season 3 was like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Ain't that bad?
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch Jessica Jones, so I wouldn't know.
I watched all of them just because I was like, why not? Because I kept seeing, like, I saw Daredevil on Netflix long before I ever watched it. And then when I did watch it, I was like, oh, this shit is actually kind of good. Little did I know, no, I was wrong. Well, no, Daredevil was good. The first 2 seasons. Well, actually, all 3 of them was good. But, yeah, that was like the only good series out of all of the ones that was on Netflix. Cause after Jessica Jones, like I said, Jessica Jones, the first season was good. Second season was eh. Third season was nah. Freaking Iron Fist, his first season was shit. Like, and I kept trying to defend it because I was like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And then you actually go back and watch that shit and put it into context and like, bro, they keep referring to the temple where he was trained, where he was raised, but they don't really show you. And then in a little bit of flashbacks that they give you in season 2, it's like they barely show you the fucking temple that they keep basing all of this shit around. But that's because they didn't have no money. They couldn't do all of that shit visually because they didn't have the money behind them. Which was cool, but then the actors were kind of phoning it in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was some shit acting.
Bruh.
Some shit acting. I didn't really care for the dude who played. What's his name, Dan?
Yeah, Danny Rand.
Of course, his fucking name was Dan.
Yeah.
I wasn't rocking with him all too tight. I'm not even gonna lie. I think my favorite character was his girlfriend.
Oh yeah. What's her name? Not Jennifer.
Nah, I can't remember her name. That was
Yeah, the Chinese girl. Yeah, she was bad. She was bad. I liked her. Up until the end of season 1 when she took the power of the Iron Fist and put that shit in a sword. I was like, you're fucking kidding me. And I thought they was gonna do that shit in season 2, have them endowing the power of the Iron Fist in the objects. I'm like, cause that's how season 1 ended, with him and his brother going to I think they went to Hong Kong, and they were trying to stop the triads, I guess. Got into a shootout. This nigga imbued the bullets in the gun with the Iron Fist, so when they shot, it punched out the other guy's bullets. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
wow. They were just trying to give you a little hockey.
Like, but it came out of nowhere. It wasn't like they explained that, yeah, no, you can pass that shit from object to object.
So
they barely talked about it passing from person to person.
So he imbued the bullets with the Iron Fist just to shoot other bullets.
Yeah.
When he probably just could have shot the bullets without. I mean, I guess I would have to seen it.
Yeah.
But I really can't get that. I couldn't get that.
Yeah, Luke Cage was cool.
Yeah, Luke Cage was cool.
They kept trying to make a statement.
That's as far as the guy was cool.
Like, I liked Cottonmouth. He was cool.
Yeah.
Diamondback was okay. He was okay, but then again, that's because they kept trying to make him too much of this nigga's rival.
Right. Well, he had the same exact powers that he had or something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So
right.
he beat him. So who's next?
Exactly. That's why they should only had 2 seasons.
And that's what I said after I seen that last episode. I said, okay, well, he beat him. Who else is there to beat up? Nobody.
Right.
So it's gonna be Luke Cage detective stories or some shit.
Bro, they could have did that.
Solving neighborhood crimes and shit.
They could have did that and just played off the fact that this nigga's bulletproof.
Oh, yeah, work for hire. So they could have slipped that in there.
Right.
But whatever.
But yeah. So.
But I like that they got Matt Murdock in there.
Yeah.
I like that because I fucked with his Daredevil.
Yeah, man. He really brought it to you. Because when Ben Affleck did it, that nigga was shit.
We don't speak his name.
I forgot that nigga's Voldemort.
Yes. We don't speak his name when it comes to that shit.
Especially after he ruined Batman. Like, bro, how you fuck up Batman?
Well, I know what he said. If George Clooney can do it, I can't. That's what
Bro, George Clooney wasn't the only one that gave a shitty Batman role.
Val Kilmer did it too.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
The best part of the Val Kilmer Batman that I like was the ending credits song.
Wow. But I think that one was still done by I think the first few of them was done by Tim Burton.
They tried to throw Robin in there, and
yeah, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, he came off really whiny and bitchy to me the whole time.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, no. And then you had the 2 niggas fighting over a woman.
Yeah.
Really? So that's how you? Really? That's kind of gay. That's kind of gay. I don't know. That's kind of gay. So Robin finna fight Batman because he think Ivy love him. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Boo. But whatever.
Yeah.
If I was there and had a script, I would have wrote a better script. But I wasn't. I was
That's why
trying to get my daddy to water
rewrites.
But man,
that's why we have last minute rewrites.
Only we could
go back and actually do that shit.
Rewrites, script for these shitty movies.
Yeah.
Nah, but, yeah, I didn't care for George Clooney's Batman, Val Kilmer's Batman. The rest of them were cool. Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton and Christian Bale.
Now, Robert Pattinson was like
it's looking like he might be number 3.
Kill it now.
It's looking like he might be number 3, but let's
right. Let's not
see how that goes.
Right, because who knows? That could be some shit too.
Yeah. But since I did bring up last minute rewrites, let's go ahead and get into this. So I did last minute rewrites for Captain Marvel. Now, me and you kind of talked about this shit over the weekend. But yeah, so in the original story, y'all know how it goes. We don't really get any real backstory on Carol Danvers. We start out just on the Kree planet. Don't know how she got there. Don't know, whether or not she got powers. And all of a sudden in the training, she has powers. So off the muscle, they start her out OP. Like super OP. So much so that they have to give her a power dampener so that, she doesn't go off the handle. So y'all know the whole story where she gets caught up by the Skrulls and they search through her memories looking for Mar-Vell and trying to find out what she was working on and everything like that. And it's a couple of parts that I feel like they could have did better. It's a couple of parts that I'm like, they were right there. If they would have just expanded it by like just a little bit, they could have covered everything. So I'm not gonna sit here and just dunk on the movie and just talk shit about that shit. No. What I'm gonna do is what I always do with movies that I think could have been better. We're gonna give it a last minute rewrite. So just for some backstory, or the backstory of this rewrite that I'm doing, we're gonna start off where Carol's a child. She's, let's say, 8, in a boxcar derby, and she's being teased by a little boy. And the little boy is doing, you know what kids do. Oh, no, you can't do this. You suck. You're a girl. You're a girl. You suck. This is really going to be the only time in the movie that I'm basing anything on gender. And that's because kids are fucking terrible. They have no filter. They say what the fuck they want. Kids and old people.
Right. After the rest of the world understand that.
Like, bruh. So the little boy is teasing her like, you can't beat me. You're a girl. You're a girl. You can't beat me. And so she's getting mad, and you know, so they start the race. Everybody takes off. Everybody's kind of even. The little boy starts to pull ahead. So Carol starts to catch up with him. This motherfucker, to make sure she doesn't catch up with him, he sabotages her boxcar, causing her to crash into like one of the little hay walls. Right? One of her wheels start to come off, but it don't come off fully. So then we're gonna cut to a scene of her having a little father-daughter moment with her dad. That's kind of gonna be the heart of the movie. Okay, because if you gonna do something like this with a badass film, you gotta have some kind of heart to it, some kind of parent. I would say a single father, because in the movie they kind of showed us just her dad. At least I thought that was her dad, the grown man that was talking to her at the beginning. But other than that, they didn't give us no history on like her parents or anything like that. They just threw us in there. So for this one, we gonna kind of have her being raised by a single dad. So yeah, we gonna have a good father-daughter scene where maybe they're on a picnic and she's a little girl and he's picking her up and got her in the air and she's got her arms out like she's flying, because that's gonna foreshadow to her joining the Air Force. Stick with me. So after that scene, we gonna have we go into Carol in high school, and her father, she comes home one day and her father's sitting at the kitchen table, got the bills spread across the table. You know how they do in Hollywood, show motherfuckers stressed out over bills. They just got bills everywhere and have them sitting there holding their head and I can't figure this out and woo, all that shit. So she sees that's giving her the motivation to want to better her life. And so that's when her dad argue over her going into the Air Force, because she wants to do it because, one, you know the military is finna give you that check. You work for the military, you gonna get that check, and it's gonna be guaranteed every motherfucking week, every month, whenever they send it. So yeah. Then we gonna move on to when she is in the Air Force, and we gonna have her going up for like an obstacle course or something like that. And yet again, there's gonna be a male cadet who's gonna tell it, you ain't beating my record. I'm the best person out here. You are not beating my record. Like hell, every dude here has tried to beat my record and they can't. Like I'm just the best. And so we gonna have this motherfucker mad arrogant. Don't make him sexist, because you don't want to alienate half your fucking audience. I hate when they do that in Hollywood. They make the guy sexist on purpose just to make a statement. No. You can make this guy an asshole towards her without making him a sexist asshole. So we just gonna make this nigga a jerk. That way he's hated all around. So we gonna have her try the obstacle course and fail. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Why would she fail? Why not? Hang tight. We gonna circle back. So then we cut to present day. Carol wakes up in her room on the Kree planet. She goes and finds Yon-Rogg and they start training. Now he's training her how to focus her powers. He's not training her or telling her, no, don't use your powers, no, don't use it. He's telling her, learn to regulate it. Because every time she uses it, she goes all out with like every blast, every punch. It's like, it's always overkill. So he's teaching her learn to focus it into like your hand or into your arm, or that way, you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta always use all of your energy. That way, if you're in a bigger battle with a person who's strong enough to take a blast, then you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta go, oh shit, what do I do? So, I'm gonna keep the whole mission that they went on in the movie, where they went down to, I forgot what planet that was, but they were looking for one of their spies that they had with the Skrulls. I'm gonna keep that. It's just gonna end a little bit differently. That scene is gonna end a little bit differently. What we gonna have is Carol is gonna get separated from her squad because she gets tricked by Talos, who's disguising himself as the spy, and he takes her to an area where she loses service with her comms. Like, she's out of contact, and this motherfucker knocks her out or stuns her. And if not him, one of the other Skrulls. So again, we're gonna keep the whole scene where she's having her memories flipped through by the Skrulls, because again, they're looking for something. This time they're not gonna be looking for Mar-Vell specifically. They're gonna be looking for anything that has to do with Project Pegasus. So that's their key phrase when they search Project Pegasus or Pegasus. So they go on their mission. They're looking for Project Pegasus because that's the incident that gave Carol her powers. The Skrulls follow. Well, Carol breaks free, and just like she did in the movie. And as she breaks free and she's going to fly off, when she gets shot down, when she lands on Earth, I'm gonna have her power dampener go into overdrive. This way she's almost powerless. Well, she's not powerless, she just can't use her powers because the dampener is like I said, in overdrive. So it's so much that she's almost human. Well, she is human, but it humanizes her, so to speak. So she crash lands in the blockbuster. When she comes out and she runs into the security guard, he calls the police, but they send SHIELD. And when SHIELD gets there, they arrest Carol. She tries to resist, but being that, again, her power dampener is in overdrive, she's powerless to stop them from taking her in. Kind of like what happened to Thor in his first movie, where he got to Earth and thought, oh, I got my powers, and it was like, no. And they treated him like a normal human man. Well, in this one, we're gonna make her a normal human woman. Why she gotta be overpowered all the fucking time? I digress. So, Fury takes her in, and while he has her in custody, he's trying to figure out where she came from, how she was able to fall from the sky and not die when one of Talos' Skrulls break into the secret SHIELD interrogation facility and tries to take Carol back from them. He's not trying to hurt her, he's just trying to capture her. This way we kind of get a little bit of a chase scene, but it's not so much her chasing them, it's them chasing her because they're trying to bring her back because they want to keep going through her memories. So, yeah. Once they try to get her back, she ends up fighting off the Skrull with her bare hands, not using her power, even though she tries to use them, but she can't. So she ends up using her military training, her Air Force training, and she beats that nigga that way. Fury ends up killing the Skrull, not knowing what the fuck it is, and it shifts back into what it looks like normally instead of the human disguise that it was in. So, from that point, Carol starts to ask about Project Pegasus, because when the Skrulls was digging through her memories, that was what they were looking for. So she asked Fury, like, hey, have you ever heard of Project Pegasus? Do you know what Project Pegasus is? And he's asking her, how the fuck do you know about that? And she's like, well, when I was on that Skrull ship, they implanted these visions in my head about Project Pegasus. And so he's like, listen, if I'm going to tell you about that, I know where we need to go to figure out all about it. So he starts to tell her the little bit of Project Pegasus that he knows. And so when they get to the SHIELD facility in the desert, well, on the way there, that's when she starts telling him, like, the Skrulls are shapeshifters, so they can infiltrate anything or any organization. So this is how you spot one, or this is how you determine if a person is a Skrull or not. And so she teaches him how to test them and says, it's certain things that it's certain things about a person's memory, like they only can copy, I think, recent memories, she said in the movie. So it has to be something from like your past that's like deep. So they get to the new SHIELD facility and they're trying to find their way in, or they're trying to find out about Project Pegasus. That's when Talos comes in disguised as Nick Fury's boss. And so he starts cozying up to Nick Fury and like, look, I'm glad you found the fugitive. Let's take her in. We can discuss everything once we get back. And he's like, yeah, okay, but first, sir, I want to ask about Project Pegasus. And he's like, that's classified. How do you know about that? And he's like, yeah, nah, I have clearance. And he goes, okay, but we can't talk about the 10. He's doing everything to avoid talking about Project Pegasus. Because again, remember, Talos does not know. That's what they were looking for. So Fury looks over at Carol. And that's when Carol kind of nods and she says, yeah. So Fury asks him one last question. It's about a mission that they did in fucking, I don't know, some foreign country. I forget what country they used in the movie, but yeah. And so he was like, yeah, just like in let's call it Budapest for the lack of a better term. So Talos agrees. And he's like, yeah, I remember that. Nick Fury made this shit up. It never happened. But Talos would know that. So that's when he goes, all right, yeah, cool. Let's take her in and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what she gave up. And so as they're going to leave, Fury pulls his gun on Talos, who's disguised as his boss. And he's like, yeah, I know you're not who you say you are. So tell me who you are. Fight breaks out. Talos smacks the gun out of Fury's hand. Him and Fury fight. Carol is trying to use her powers, but again, they're not working. Like she's trying. So just like how when she was on Talos' ship and she had them big, I guess they were handcuffs, them giant things on her fists, and she kept trying to use her powers, but it was like muffling them. That's kind of like what's happening to her. Her hands will light up, but the photon blast won't come out. And so she's like, damn it, it's not working. So freaking her and Fury take off running. Or she tries to fight Talos off, doesn't work. Her and Fury take off running. Talos chases them through the facility. They end up getting on one of the cargo planes. And when they get on the cargo plane, she starts to have flashbacks of when she was a pilot. And so she remembers her hand, and it's like the flashback is of her touching different buttons and switches to start the jet and start the plane. So she starts mimicking what she's doing in the flashback, and the jet starts to come alive. And so they take off. As they're flying, Nick Fury is reading the file on Project Pegasus, and another name in the file is Maria Rambeau. And so he keeps reading, and he's like, all right, well, maybe we need to go see this Maria Rambeau person, and maybe she can kind of tell us a little more about what's going on with Project Pegasus. Maybe she could fill in some of the blanks. So they fly over to her farm. Now in the movie, her and her daughter were outside, and I think she was either fixing her plane or waxing her plane. She was doing something to her plane. But in this one, I'm not gonna have her and her daughter outside. I'm gonna have them both in the house. And when Maria and Fury land on her property, when Carol and Fury land on Maria's property, she comes out and she's like, oh my God, like she's taken aback that is Carol. So Fury knocks the door, or not knocks the door, when he shows it, like Fury's like, hey, I'm Nick Fury, this is Veers, I think she said her name was. And so Maria's like, nah, that's Carol. And Carol was like, you know me? And she's like, yeah, you don't remember? And she, no. So they go in the house, and Maria starts filling in the blanks in the holes in Carol's memory. And that's when Carol brings up Project Pegasus. So Maria's like, oh, you don't remember that? We were on that mission. And so, well, she starts explaining it to her, and she's like, yeah, that's when, I forgot the Earth name that Mar-Vell used, but she starts going on about how Mar-Vell was like, yeah, she was working on a light speed engine, and she just starts telling her the whole spiel about what was going on that day. And so once she hears that, Carol gets up and tries to use her communicator to call Yon-Rogg to Earth to pick her up. So her communicator's not really working. So that's when we get our first look at Monica Rambeau, who's a little girl, and she comes in and she's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And Carol is like, "Oh, this is my communicator. It's just not working right now, and I'm not sure how to get it working." So Monica says, "Ooh, let me see." So she takes it in the other room, and she's sitting there, she's tweaking with it and fiddling with it, trying to get it to work. And then all of a sudden, she gets a incoming transmission from Yon-Rogg, who's looking for Veers, and he's, Veers, are you there? Are you there? Veers, are you there? And so Carol comes running in the room. She's like, "What did you do?" And so Monica tells, "Oh, I just kind of messed with the wire a little bit," or she explains what she did. And so Carol takes the communicator, and she goes in the other room, and she's telling Yon-Rogg, she's like, "Look, I'm on C-136 or whatever they called Earth. And so she's telling him, she's like, yeah, the Skrulls followed me here, and they're looking for something called a light speed engine. And so Yon-Rogg is like, all right, we'll be there like ASAP. So just stay where you at, we coming. So when she gets off of the communicator with him, she goes back in the other room and she's talking to Maria. And they hear a knock at the door, and it's Talos. Or no, it's a Skrull, one of his Skrulls disguised as Maria's neighbor. And he's like, hey, whose plane is this? Is this a government plane? Da-da-da-da. And he's asking all types of questions, and she's like, look, this is my friend from the Air Force. She came to see me about some important stuff and this and so she's trying to send him away. So when she closes the door, everybody turns around. Talos is standing in the little hallway, in the foyer. And so Fury goes to reach for his gun. Carol tries to use her powers again, but once again, they're not working. So Talos is like, look, I'm not here to fight. I'm here because I'm looking for information. And he said, you're the only one that has that information. So I'm sorry if what we did at first was a little invasive, but we didn't know until we captured you that you were the one that we were looking for. So she's like, what are you talking about? So that's when he explains his side of things and how the Kree are actually a race of conquerors that go through and they kill off any race of people that don't agree with their way of thinking. And so he said him and his people were being hunted, and his people were they found a safe haven, and the lady that we know as Mar-Vell, he's like, yeah, she helped them find a safe haven, but we don't know where it is. It's supposed to be in her lab, but we can't find it. And supposedly whatever happened during Project Pegasus, it happened either in or around where her lab is. So they're like, well, how do you know about Project Pegasus? He's like, we received an incoming transmission from one of her communicators. And he starts explaining what it is, and then he plays the recording of the incident. But as he's going to play the recording, Maria Rambeau is like, well, wait, they told us the black box was destroyed in the crash. And he's like, yeah, no, we received the transmission, so it might have been destroyed on your end, but we still have it from our end. And he plays the transmission. Now, that scene, I'm gonna keep completely the same. We're not gonna change anything from that scene because that scene was perfect. The whole thing with Yon-Rogg showing up and then the Kree changing it in her memory for her to see a Skrull. Well, on the transmission, she hears Yon-Rogg's voice. And this is when you find out he's actually a bad guy. And so it's like, oh, fuck. So now this nigga's on his way, and he's coming for that light speed engine, which we all know is actually the Tesseract. But, so after hearing that, Carol is like, well, damn, like, so Yon-Rogg is actually not who he says he is. The Kree isn't who they say they are. And so outside, one of the Skrulls that's outside, that's supposed to be standing guard, this motherfucker gets shot down by a Kree battleship. They just come in blasting. So when they come in blasting, Maria runs outside and gets to her plane so that she can go fight them off. And so as she's fighting off the little drone, the drone pilots that are coming in, give you that whole battle in the sky like they always do, that big CG battle. You get that, but then also down on Earth, Carol comes running outside and she sees Yon-Rogg. And he's like, Veers, we found you. Let's go. We're going to kill off these Skrulls and we're going to take this light speed engine and go. And so Carol goes, oh no, I know the truth. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, no, I know how the Kree are actually the conquerors, and they're the ones killing off the Skrulls, and that's why you want the light speed engine. So you can shoot to any point in the universe, in the galaxy, at any point in time, and just start killing off enemies. You'll be completely unstoppable. An army that can teleport, stop it. Stop it. So they exchange words. She tries to fight him. Again, trying to use her powers, but they won't come out. And so I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna have this nigga just smacking her around and no shit. No, what he's gonna do is he's gonna fight her on some cocky shit. Like not actually fighting her, but not letting her hit him. Like everything she throws at him, he's gonna be dodging or parrying her attacks, pushing her around, moving her like, see, yeah, I'm your teacher. You know that shit with the teacher fighting the student and he's like, I really don't have to exert any energy. I could just use your own momentum against you. It's gonna be one of those fights. Because again, she's powerless and this nigga has all of his Kree powers. So seeing her powerless to fight this nigga, Fury comes out with one of his little shield guns. Well, not little. He gonna pull out one of them big fucking rocket launcher type shield guns, one of them Halo guns. Fucking he gonna blast Yon-Rogg. Wait, I'm skipping a beat. Before Fury comes out, after Yon-Rogg done pushed Carol around and like is just being cocky, like one of those bullies where you see a short person, you put your hand on their head and they just swinging at the air. So it's one of those, and he ends up holding her down, forcing her to watch as Maria's plane gets shot out of the sky. And so as she's watching that, that's when we go back to the flashbacks. We open up with her in the boxcar derby, crashed into the hay wall. We see her take some rope or some string, tie it around her wheel, pull it back up, and uses it like reins of a horse while she's driving her boxcar. And not only does she get back on the road, she actually comes back and wins the race. So then the next scene we go to is her in the Air Force at the obstacle course, right after she failed the first time. And we have all the men, the male cadets laughing and shit. She gets mad, she beats the ground, she gets right back up, and she does the obstacle course double time. Beats this nigga's record by like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Well, not 20, that's a lot. But 10, 15 seconds. To the point where this nigga has to shut the fuck up. So, after beating this nigga's record, She goes, "Who's the man now?" and walks off. And so that's just a little, catchphrase like, yeah, and then you was talking all that shit like you the best, you the man, who's the man now? So have that moment. And then we cut back to her being held down by Jan Rock. And Fury, that's when he shows up with his shield gun and he blasts Jan Rock. It's not enough to knock him down, but it's enough to make him release Carol. And so Jan Rock looks up at Fury and uses one of his Kree guns to blast the shit out of Fury. And after seeing Fury get hit with a Kree blast, that sends her shit into overdrive. Her eyes light up. The power dampener that's on her neck, that shit shorts out. And it's just all hell breaks loose. She gets up, she punches the fuck out of this nigga Jan Rock, gives this nigga like a Shoryuken uppercut, sends that nigga flying. She takes off and flies up through the air. She starts taking out all the Kree battleships, all the drone pilots, all of these motherfuckers. And she's using her powers, finally, to take all of these shits the fuck out. And then she flies back down. She checks on Maria first. Maria's not dead. She is wounded, had maybe like broken ribs, a broken leg or some shit like that, but not full on dead. You know what I mean? Like mortally wounded, but not dead. So she goes to check on Fury, who I want to say has a big ass hole in his chest. There's a reason I'm saying that. So Carol checks on him and she is like, oh my God, like, what do I do? What do I do? Talos says, let me take him up to Mar-Vell's lab. We can heal him up there. So she says, all right, you do that. I'll take care of Jan Rock. So she walks back over and Jan Rock is laughing now. He's picking himself up off the ground, holding his jaw. Like, damn, you learned how to regulate your powers. Okay, so let's go for round 2 then. And she just looks at him like with this look of, nigga, you fucked my whole life up. And so she's like, no. And she just shoots she charges all the energy into her fist, into one fucking fist. And she lets off this big ass blast. It's not a beam, it's a blast. And that shit blows a hole straight through this motherfucker Jan Rock. And that nigga dies. So what happened after that, we move on to Carol helping the Skrulls get up to Mar-Vell's lab. Once they get up there, they start working on Nick Fury. And I said all of that to say this because that's how I'm gonna tie in Talos being Fury throughout the whole MCU. Because we found that out in Spider-Man No Way Home. Not No Way Home, Far From Home. Home. My home. But yeah, so that was last minute rewrites. Oh boy, that was a motherfucker. What you got?
That was good. I like how she doesn't get her powers. She can't use her powers until the end. Yeah, you made her human throughout that whole movie instead of her walking around kicking everybody's ass.
Right.
Let me ask you real quick. Whatever happened to that guy on the motorcycle?
Oh, I took that part out.
Okay. Saved you.
Because again, that was another moment they had this dude, quote unquote, being sexist, which it wasn't really him being sexist. And he told her to smile. Why is that so bad to tell a woman to smile? If you sitting there with rested bitch face, and the nigga's like, hey, you kind of pretty, can you smile? Like, the fuck? So I was like, I just took that whole part out. Because after that, she stole this nigga's motorcycle and an outfit from a mannequin. But he was the fucked up person for telling her to smile.
Good move taking it out. Good move. Good move.
So, what's going on with this Dragon Ball manga?
Well, shit. Goku and Vegeta have gotten into it with this dude named Granola, who's from the planet Cereal, who has a beef with the Saiyans because a long time ago the Saiyans came through and kind of fucked this planet up. Vegeta has attained what they're calling Ultra Ego. I'm not really a fan of the name, but it would be Vegeta's result of training with Beerus, like how Ultra Instinct is Goku's result of training with Whis.
Right.
So the transformation is dope. I like it. I like the fact that he's got on this earring. The earring signifies that he can use destruction.
Like Beerus.
Yeah, so that's fucking dope. But Granola is knocking him down, and come to find out, Granola can get better as the fight goes on. So, because at one point Vegeta had him. Yeah, because at one point Vegeta had him. But boom, my man turned up once again. So right now where we're at, he's got Goku and Vegeta on the ground again. And right as he's about to, I guess, do away with them for good, his eye patch comes in. His eye patch is named Oatmeal. I know it sounds funny. It sounds crazy, but he has an eye patch, and his eye patch talks to him. And its name is Oatmeal. But Oatmeal drops in and tries to convince Granola to, let his vengeance go, because it was indeed a Saiyan who saved his life. Bardock, to be exact, Goku's father. So now that we've had this shattering revelation, we're set to see what's gonna happen next. Because during the fight, Vegeta actually did try to, Vegeta was telling him, hey, we don't know nothing about that. Whatever happened to your planet, we didn't have nothing to do with it. We don't fuck with Frieza. But Granola's not trying to hear it. So maybe this right here will kind of stir it, because the true villains are looking like the Heaters. Because as Granola's fighting Goku and Vegeta, the Heaters done went and grabbed the Dragon Balls, and they're getting ready to summon a dragon and make their wish, which I'm guessing will probably be to make them stronger than Granola. And if they do that, then but then it'll probably shape up to be Granola, Vegeta, and Goku versus the Heaters, probably. But yeah, so far that's it. That, and waiting on this new movie to drop.
Yeah. The last time I saw that preview, like I said, it threw me, because it almost looked fan made. And I'm like, I still can't tell if it's real or not, because it's like almost 3D animation.
Well, it's real. It's actually real. It's funny you said that, because from what I've been finding out, a lot of fans didn't like the animation. So the animator actually is like, I believe he's like redoing it.
Okay.
Or he at least apologized for it. Because I guess he figured the fans would like that, but no, they don't. They want to see the animation that they use for Broly, and that's what I want to see. That's the kind of animation I want to see. But yeah, because I said that too. I said, damn, it's a totally different animation style than from their last movie.
Right. It was, because from the preview, like I said, it looked like it was 3D animation, almost like they were trying to make it look live action. But it's not live action, like it's completely CG almost. And I was like, bro, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
But, I'm sure the movie won't be like that, because, if people are, giving them hell about a snippet of a trailer, then you already know.
Right.
They give him hell about a whole movie. So, but I trust Kerry Toriyama and the powers that be to do this thing right.
Right. Cause yeah, Dragon Ball is a lot. It's a staple for a lot of people. For a lot of people. Even people who really don't fuck with anime like that. If you say anime, the first thing that comes to their mind is Dragon Ball Z. That Dragon Ball Z is synonymous with anime. And it's getting to a point now that One Piece is kind of taking up that mantle. Cause like they are lit. That's I think the #1 anime in Japan right now. So much so they got their own theme park. Well, not theme park. I know they got their own park. Where they be holding live shows. Like these motherfuckers do live One Piece plays. Like, dude.
Yeah, that's definitely become a cult classic.
Matter of fact, I was on Facebook a few weeks ago and I seen this post and I forgot who it was on my timeline. They had posted some shit that just landed in Japan and this is what I saw. And in the airport, it's a big ass banner with this nigga Luffy on it. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like,
really mainstream.
bruh.
Really mainstream. Man,
Bruh.
Luffy probably making more money than most of these entertainers in this country.
Right. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
I think we ran the gauntlet.
Did we? Final word. What's the word, nerd?
Man, final word is till next time.
Okay, so if you haven't already done it, go ahead and grab that Fly 93.5 app. Go in your Google Play, your Apple App Store, wherever you get your apps from. Type in Fly 93.5, grab that app, listen live. If you can't catch us that way, you can go on radio.fly935.com/listen and it'll take you right to us. Tap that play button. Go ahead, listen in. If you want to catch us on Facebook, you can catch us at Anime and Chill. Space anime, space and chill, space. You know what I'm talking about. If you want to hit us up on Instagram, it's Anime and Chill 88, all one word. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, it's at Armand Joseph, ARMONDJOSEPH. If you want to hit us up on Facebook, it's at Armand.Joseph.9. And yeah, man, come on in and tap in with us and check us out, man. I know for the last few weeks we missed Anime and Chill, but we're back. The boys are back in town, my nigga. The boys
are back in town.
Yes, sir. So, it's about that time. Throw on your favorite tunes. Grab your favorite person. Kick up your feet. It's time to Anime and Chill. Peace.
Dynamic entrance kicking in the door like God. Turn up to the max, shooting energy up to the sky. Tap into the station 935, it's time to rock. Swooshy color backgrounds just to let you know we fly. Undefeated, never beaten, cause we got the skills. Striking all this black gold, you would think we had a drill. We got what you need, homie, so come and get your fill. Relax and unwind, it's time to anime and chill. It's time to anime and chill. Relax and unwind, it's time to anime and chill.